Welcome everyone. Today we are going to discuss the Assam budget. So, just on 10th March, Assam government announced the budget, and we were all eagerly waiting for the budget, the new announcement, and so the budget is out. Now, from exam point of view, both prelims and mains, Assam budget is going to be there in your exam question paper, right? There is no doubt at all. Because if you look at the last few year question paper, there are direct questions from the budget, either related to static concepts या related to Assam budget ka schemes, announcement, welfare program, etc. Like for example, last year, if you look at the mains, they asked the question, how this educational scheme called 𝘠𝘩𝘓 𝘠𝘧 is going to deal with the problem of child marriage, etc. Right? Prelims also they asked about a lot of schemes related to women. So there are going to be questions on Assam budget. So this budget analysis we are going to do in two parts. In this video, we will look at first the overall view of the budget, the technical parts of the budget. Tomorrow I will again do another video. There we will discuss the Assam government ka schemes, flagship program, which are more schemes oriented type. Okay, so if you look at the budget, the Assam budget 2025-26 was just announced on 10 March by our finance minister Ajanta Niyog. And what is the meaning of a budget? Let's start with that. Budget, generally when we say, also I explained this concept in the Indian economy also. Whenever we talk about budget is the government's annual financial statement. That means every year government gives government ka financial statement. That means what? Government explains to the people of this state what are the sources of income for the government and what are the various expenditure of the government. So in budget normally what do we find? We find two important information. One is the receipt of the government, other one is expenditure of the government. So the receipt and expenditure becomes what do we call annual financial statement, and this annual financial statement is what do we call it? Budget. Clear now? So there should be no confusion. Now Assam budget is prepared by the finance department of Assam. Okay, so this prepares the budget under the definitely guidance of the finance minister. Now Assam budget, when we talk from prelims point of view, just a few little information for you. The first budget of Assam, okay, was presented by whom? This kind of a question statement question आपको exam में prelims में आ सकता है. So the first budget of Assam was presented by Maulavi Syed Sir Mohammad Sadullah, that is way back before independence 1937. But if the question in exam is asked after independence who presented the first budget of Assam, there you have another answer, late Bishnuram Medi, that is in 1948. So Assam budget was presented first time ever in 1937, okay, but after independence if it is asked, then it will be late Bishnuram Medi. So in that tradition of budget presentation, we have our current finance minister Ajanta Niyog. She presented the budget for 2025-26 on 10 March 2025, just a day ago. Okay. Now this budget, our Assam budget, is the, if you look at the budget ka size, what is the size of our budget? It is 2.63 lakh crore. It is not 2 crore, 2.63 lakh crore, right? That means what? The budget size has slowly gradually increased in Assam. Assam is slowly also becoming a bigger economy. That's the meaning of that. Okay. So now first we will look at some of the highlights. Today I am not going into details of the schemes. As I told you, I will make another video for the details of the schemes, etc. Today we are just going to say what are the main highlights of the budget and look at the government ka income, expenditure, all the details, right? So now, what are the major highlights of the new budget of Assam government? So if you look at here, the government has highlighted certain important things as the key highlights of the budget. First one, girls education and women empowerment. So remember, exam point of view, this question can come for both prelims, but mostly also you can think ये जो टॉपिक है ये आपको मेंस में आ सकता है. What are the initiatives taken for girls education and women empowerment? Like 1 year ago, mains का question paper था, what are the initiatives taken by Assam government for gender equality? So you know, mains में you directly get questions from the budget. Okay, so this is one important focus. Second one, Assam government is this time focused on this one, Assam Accord Clause 6. Okay, that also they have announced that they are going to look into that. They will do implementation, expenditure also will be there. Another area which the budget has focused is entrepreneurship and skill development. This is like what we can say, promoting business enterprises, developing skill of the youth, etc. For that also this budget has given a lot of focus. Another area highlighted by the budget is agriculture and also allied sector. Allied sector का मतलब क्या होता है? Fishery, forestry, animal husbandry, they are all allied sectors of agriculture. The next area highlighted by the budget is investment and infrastructure. This has been the very important focus of Assam government, say in the last 4-5 years also. A lot of money has been spent on infrastructure development as well as investment. Then another one, Assam government talks about welfare, that is standing with our employees. Lot of incentives are announced this time for the government servants of Assam also, right? So now these are what we can say the major focus of the Assam budget. Now coming to the main thing, that is the Assam government's what we can say 18 flagship schemes for the welfare and development. ये जो 18 flagship schemes है, इसका detail I will do in tomorrow because each of them requires a lot of time and we need to understand each one. So I don't want to rush up today with the other parts of the budget. This we will do tomorrow in a separate video. We will discuss each and every point of this क्योंकि exam में any of these schemes can be asked in prelims. Understand? So these 18 flagship schemes of Assam government are very important and it is going on for last few years. This 18 what we call Unyoni Mala is still going on. Now other than that, the same thing government has highlighted here. What are the major announcement also? Government, if you see the 18 flagships program, it deals with some of these things you are familiar because last year also it was there, like Arunodaya, Mukhyamantri Mahila Udyamita Abhiyan, Mukhyamantri Nijut Moina, right? Provincialization of school. No, there are so many such 18 focus schemes the government is announced, like what we can say for development of Assam. So this we will discuss one by one in the separate video. Now look at what are the main announcements made in this budget. Okay, this also I will discuss tomorrow along with the 18 flagship program. First one, if you see, incentives for faculty members in medical colleges. Okay, Proton Therapy Center, Assam Higher and Technical Education Funding Scheme. Now Dibrugarh Polytechnic will be upgraded to engineering college, creating model school. You know, there are like that so many, like 26 major announcements made by government. Now any of these major announcement can be part of the question paper. Understand? Therefore these things we have to do in a little detail. I will do a separate video for this, the 26 major announcement and the 18 flagship program. This we will take tomorrow in a detailed discussion. Now we look at the technical parts of the budget. What are the things that we need to understand when we talk about Assam budget? Let's begin with that. The first thing Assam government has given is the comparison of GDP of Assam and India. So if you look at here, GSDP, that is the gross state domestic product, GSDP of Assam and the GDP of India, right? Now look at GSDP of Assam, 2016-17, that is when BJP came to power. The growth which is given in current price, it was 11.6, India was 11.8, almost same. 17-18, 11.3, it is little greater than India. Whereas 18-19, India was 10.6, Assam only 9.2. But 2019-20, Assam had 12.1% growth, India had very less, only 6.4. Then came COVID, right? COVID mein what happened? India also went into minus growth, Assam also went into minus growth. But after that, Assam ka GDP growth has been phenomenal. So if you see here, 2021-22, India is 18, Assam is 20. 22-23, India is 14, Assam is 16. Here India is only 9, Assam is 19. And 24-25, which is going on right now the year, India is only 9.7% growth, whereas Assam is expecting around 12% GDP growth. Therefore, our CM few months ago said Assam is one of the fastest growing states in India and it comes in the top 5 states of India. We are one of the top 5 fastest growing states of India. Why? Because of this. So if you look at this one, exam में कैसा question आ सकता है? I give you an idea. You can get a MCQ like this. In the last 5 years, the GDP growth of Assam is greater than the GDP growth of India at current price. So answer is yes. Assam ka GDP growth is higher than the GDP growth of India at current price as the statistics are given by the Assam budget. Clear? So this is one comparison. So is comparison mein what is the Assam government trying to communicate? They are trying to say that Assam ka GDP growth is quite good and it is growing strong and Assam is quickly having a faster GDP growth and development. Now coming to the budget proper. So as I introduced you, what is the budget? Budget basically tells us government का revenue कहाँ से आता है और government का expenditure कहाँ पे होता है. That means what are the sources of revenue, मतलब income to government of Assam. So when we talk about revenue, income, there are 2 sources of income. First one is called revenue receipt and second one is called capital receipt. Why? Because our budget, any budget, central government budget, state government budget, they are divided into 2 parts. One is called revenue budget, other one is called capital budget. So we have revenue receipt from the revenue budget, capital receipt from capital budget. Clear now? That is the first basic concept you have to understand when we talk about budget. मैं वापस एक बार बता रहा हूँ. बजट को हम 2 टाइप में डिवाइड करते हैं. We have a revenue budget and we have a capital budget. Revenue budget gives you revenue receipt, capital budget gives capital receipt. So now look at the revenue receipt. Assam government को कहां से पैसा मिलता है? Point number 1. Assam government collects state का own taxes, which are called direct taxes as well as indirect taxes. So Assam government collects both direct tax and indirect tax in Assam, which are called state ka own taxes. Right? Point number 2. Second source of income. State government also gets non-tax income. What is the non-tax income? Like fines collected by government, penalties paid by people, fee collected by government, या गवर्नमेंट का परचेस ऑफ शेयर. लाइक फॉर एग्जांपल असम गवर्नमेंट हैज अ शेयर ऑफ नुमालीगर. सो व्हेन नुमालीगर मेक्स प्रॉफिट गवर्नमेंट गेट्स सम इनकम, दैट इज व्हाट वी कॉल डिविडेंड. सपोज स्टेट गवर्नमेंट ने किसी को लोन दिया था, उस लोन के ऊपर स्टेट गवर्नमेंट को मिलता है इंटरेस्ट. दिस ऑल कम अंडर व्हाट कैटेगरी? द नॉन टैक्स रेवेन्यू कैटेगरी. क्लियर? The third source of income for Assam government, it is the share in central government ka taxes. Like central government collects corporation tax, it collects income tax. Now central government also shares some of this tax revenue with the state government. Also GST, like IGST, collected by center, but it has to share with the state. So these are what we can say share in central taxes. I will give you the details also now. And fourth one is what we can say grant in aid received by Assam government from the central government. Matlab, this is the free money which center transfers to state government, right? So there are basically four important sources of revenue receipt. We are not talking about capital receipt. I am only first taking the revenue receipt. Afterwards, we will see capital receipt. So revenue receipt में Assam government को कहाँ से पैसा मिलता है? You have the four sources. So now apply this static concept to current affair, say budget. Now look at the budget 2025-26. This diagram is created by the government itself. I have not made this. Now look at the same point. Just now I told you state government को पैसा कहाँ से मिलता है? State government का own taxes, right? State government का direct tax and indirect tax. How much? 22% of state government income comes from state cut tax. Look at this one. What I told you, non-tax revenue. That means what? Fees, penalty, dividend, interest, all that. This is how much? Only 5%. That means what? Not much money comes from non-tax, right? Third, I told you, if you look at here, that is the share in central taxes. That means how much money Assam government is getting from central government ka taxes? 28% Assam government is getting from central government taxes, right? Like corporation tax, income tax, etc. From there, state government ko share milta hai. Then we have a grant. The grant includes this one, centrally sponsored scheme as well as finance commission grant. Plus we have a other grant transfer given by central government. So centrally sponsored scheme is 15%, finance commission grant is 2.8 and other grant is only 0.2. All these three will come under the fourth category, what we call grant received. So if you see 1, 2, 3 and these are 4, right? That is the same thing I have given here. These are the four sources of income to state government of Assam. Clear now? So the same things are given in the budget also. Now these are what we call, as we said, these are revenue receipt. This whole thing is what we call revenue receipt. Now what about these two? Public debt, that means borrowed money, and recovery of loan. These are called capital receipt. Therefore I told you, budget, you understand, there are two types of receipts: revenue receipt, capital receipt. Now these are all revenue receipt and this is what we call capital receipt. Clear? So now this is the what we can say the income source of government of Assam. So if you look at here, last few years also government has given the same thing: tax revenue, non-tax revenue, share in central taxes, then grant. Grant can be planned. Now though we don't have plan, now all grants are just put generally as a grant only, right? Now let's look at the detail. When we say Assam government को taxes के द्वारा income मिलता है, which are the taxes imposed by state government? In Indian economy fiscal policy we studied the taxes imposed by central government. Now we have to understand the taxes imposed by state government. Now that can be divided into two parts. When we talk about taxes, the taxes can be divided into two parts. We have a direct tax and we have indirect tax. Now which are the direct taxes of state government? I have given here the detail. Agricultural income tax comes under the state government. tax on profession. Therefore, this year budget, Assam budget, what does it say? If your monthly income is 15,000, you may not have to pay the profession tax. So therefore, you see, profession tax is a direct tax by the state government. Then land revenue, stamp duty, then motor vehicle tax. These are all what we can say some of the major headings of direct tax. Similarly, state government का indirect tax भी होता है. For example, look at here, sales tax, state का excise duty, that means tax on production. Then passengers and goods, which includes entry tax. Now this entry tax also has actually gone into GST, but local bodies are still collecting some entry tax. Then entertainment tax also indirect tax of the state government, but it is also now gone into GST, right? So if you see state government को कहाँ से पैसा मिलता है? So we have one major category, that is the state government का tax revenue. Now state government also gets a non-tax revenue, right? So let's look at here. State government gets non-tax revenue. How much? 5.38%, right? Now look at the 5.38% कहाँ से आता है? So I have given the details here. State government को कहाँ से पैसा मिलता है? Fee for government services, fines collected by government, dividend from investment in shares business, interest on loans given by the state government, then grant in aid and gifts received from central government. So though we put grant separately, but that is a non-tax revenue in technical analysis. Then Assam government also gets royalty on petroleum, crude, coal, natural gas, etc. Clear? Now these are what we can say the important sources of income to state government. However, if you look at this carefully, these two are giving income definitely, but this is not the highest. The highest source of income state को कहाँ से मिलता है? From here, share of central taxes, that is the highest, right? So now let's look at the share of the central taxes. तो central taxes से कहाँ से मिलता है? You will find it here. Share of central taxes, right? Let's look at here. Share of central taxes. Which are the central taxes where state government को share मिलता है? They have given it in the Assam FRBM statement. You will find this. Central government से income tax, corporate tax, wealth tax, union excise duty, custom duty, service tax, इनसे state government को share मिलता है. And that share received from central government is quite high. That is what we can say 28%, right? So now these are what we can say the major income sources. And the last one is grant. There are different types of grant received by government. So these are the four important sources of revenue receipt. Clear now? Okay. Now let's look at the budget. They have given a breakup. Tax revenue. Assam government को कितना पैसा मिलता है? They have given a total 79,317 crore come from the taxes collected. That is what they have given a breakup. Taxes on income, expenditure, tax on commodity, tax on property, etc. Now that's a comparison. So last year you had 74,000 crore. This time they are calculating 79,000 crore expected to. So if you see the tax revenue is increasing. Clear? Same way, non-tax revenue, if you see, it has gone down. Last time it was 8,800. Here now they have given 8,300. That means the non-tax revenue this year expected to be little lower than last year ka estimate. Okay. The third one, share of central taxes. You see, the state government gets share from central government का goods and services tax, IGST, corporation tax, taxes on income, customs, union excise duty, service tax, etc. Now some of them are to put in the GST. The fourth source, as I told you, is the grant. Grant means what? Central government gives grant to state government ka development programs, projects, investment, plus finance commission grant, प्लस सेंट्रली स्पॉन्सर्ड स्कीम का ग्रांट मनी. So that gives the total view. स्टेट गवर्नमेंट को रुपी कहां से मिलता है. So very nicely they have given this total, that is the state का taxes, state का non tax, share of central taxes, then this is all what we call grant. These three are called grant. These two will come under capital receipt, which we will discuss now. Okay, this I already explained. Now let's look at the capital receipt. Why capital receipt? Because this public debt and recovery of loan, these two come under what category? Capital receipt. Okay, so government ka two types of receipts are there. Again I am repeating, revenue receipt and capital receipt. Now this is capital receipt. So look at the capital receipt. Same thing, recovery of loans and borrowing from various sources. This borrowing is what they put, public debt. Then we have a recovery of loan. Okay, so that covers what we can say government ka sources of money, revenue or income. Because borrowed money is not income, therefore we say receipt. Okay, now look at here, government को ज्यादा पैसा कहां से मिलता है, revenue budget में या capital budget में. So if you see, revenue budget is higher than the capital budget, therefore revenue receipts are greater than capital receipt. This is another important thing to keep in mind. See, prelims में statement based question में you can get like this question: Assam government receives maximum revenue from revenue receipt or capital receipt, right? So the answer is revenue receipt, not capital receipt. This is the total, both this together. Now look at APSC 2015 का एग्जाम में सवाल आया था, which is the most important source of income for government of India. Now that India can be changed into Assam specific question में. So the most important source of income to Assam government, which one is this one? Share of central taxes 28%. Clear? Same question APSC 2014 also it came. Now let's look at the second part, expenditure of the government. Same like how we discussed revenue budget and capital budget for receipt. Same way we have a revenue budget and capital budget for expenditure. Now revenue expenditure, the first one what I have given here, revenue expenditure. What is the revenue expenditure? It is the expenditure of the state government by which state government का कुछ asset नहीं बनता है. And what is the capital expenditure? जिस एक्सपेंडिचर के द्वारा गवर्नमेंट का असेट क्रिएशन होता है. सो हियर असेट क्रिएशन नहीं होता है, हियर असेट क्रिएशन होता है. दैट इज द मेन डिफरेंस, राइट? सो नाउ लेट्स लुक एट द सोर्सेस ऑफ रेवेन्यू एक्सपेंडिचर वेयर द मनी इज स्पेंट बाय गवर्नमेंट. दिस इज इजियर टू कंपेयर. रेवेन्यू एक्सपेंडिचर ऑफ द गवर्नमेंट इज सैलरी, interest paid by government, subsidy given by government like 𝘱𝘱𝘦, 𝘱𝘪𝘯𝘢𝘗, all that comes under subsidy. Then transfer payment like scholarship, pension, various transfer payment. Then whatever grant state government gives to some university or some cultural center or research center, whatever, right? Like colleges also get grant like 10 crore, 1 crore. They are free money given by state government to somebody. Capital expenditure, opposite. This I told you, it creates asset to the government. Like for example, constructing an hospital. Now hospital construction is an asset, it's a property. Yeah, constructing a flyover, it is a property, it remains for a long time. Yeah, creating a airport, right? That is done by central government, but it becomes again a property, asset, right? So whichever property asset is created by state government, that comes under state government's capital budget. Clear now? So here we have a acquisition, that means purchase of things like land, yeah, constructing buildings, yeah, purchasing machinery, yeah, equipment, all that comes under capital expenditure. Number 2, investment in share. जैसे I told you, Assam government has a share in 𝘱𝘱𝘮 industry 26%. That is what we call investment in shares. Then we have a loans given by the state government to whoever in the local body. Like for example, some corporation might require a loan from the state government, that is the loans. Repayment of loan, it reduces liability, that is also therefore part of capital expenditure. It is clear? So like we have a receipt ka revenue and capital budget, expenditure also comes under revenue and capital budget. So if you look at here, where does the government of Assam spend money? They have given nice comparison. This I put, this is this year given, this I have taken from last year budget. So try to give you a comparison. So if you see here, last year and this year more money is being spent by government. Where are they spending? General services, social services, economic services. This is what we call the repayment of loan. And this is the loans given by government. And this is the grant in aid and other contributions made by state government. So this is what we call the overall expenditure. Some are revenue expenditure and these are all capital expenditure. Clear now? So they have combined and given together. Okay. Now which is more, revenue expenditure or capital expenditure? So if you see, capital expenditure is greater than revenue expenditure. So revenue expenditure is not much, whereas capital expenditure is rather high of the state government of Assam. Now this year budget, a very important statement made by our CM also and finance minister also. What is it? Now slowly, though it is less capital expenditure, but Assam government is slowly capital expenditure को increase कर रहे हैं. क्यों? For development like road construction, building construction, etc., etc. So this is a good thing. Assam government is now increasing the capital expenditure. So if you look at the budget here, Assam government budget from 2016, you compare to 2023-24, capital expenditure of Assam government is increased. Now they said they are going to spend about 25,000 crore, capital expenditure. I mean, it's a good thing. It is a good sign. Because capital expenditure means what? You are going to construct road, flyover, bridges, school, medical colleges, hospital, whatever. Now that is necessary. That is what we call development. So Assam का development के लिए हमें क्या चाहिए? Capital expenditure चाहिए. और असम गवर्नमेंट में बजट में बोला है इस बार कैपिटल एक्सपेंडिचर को और ज्यादा किया है, and that is a very good thing. So you can expect in exam this kind of question, because government has made this kind of chart to show that they are spending money on capital expenditure. That means spending money for development. That is the idea. Now, which are the major headings of expenditure? This I have given you comparison of this year with last year. Okay, this year budget has only this part. I have taken this from last year so that you can easily compare and see. Now, if you see education, sports, art, culture, last year also was there 23,000 crore. This time it is 26,000 crore. That means definitely spending more. Then health and family welfare also here 8,000. Here it was also 8,000, but still 300 to 900. Water supply, sanitation, okay, here it is not mentioned this time, but social welfare, if you see, social welfare and nutrition 11,000 crore, it has now increased to 13,000 crore. Now, so which are the major headings on which Assam government is spending money? That's what you find here. Okay, so this I have purposely kept so that you can go through. This PDF will be available to you. Okay, so you can even look at the detail, you can even have a comparison. That will be easier for you to understand. Okay, now coming to some technical things about what we call concept of deficit. Fiscal deficit is very important to understand. What is the meaning of fiscal deficit now, right? What do you find here? Fiscal deficit. What is the meaning of fiscal deficit? It simply means government का expenditure ज़्यादा है और government का जो income है, receipt है, वो कम है. तो एक्सपेंडिचर जब ज्यादा होता है, इनकम जब कम होता है, तो गवर्नमेंट का बजट में शॉर्टेज होता है। ये जो शॉर्टेज है, उस शॉर्टेज को हम क्या बोलते हैं? डेफिसिट। नाउ व्हाट इज द फिस्कल डेफिसिट? फिस्कल डेफिसिट में हम लोग क्या बोलते हैं? टोटल बजट में व्हाट इज द टोटल एक्सपेंडिचर एंड व्हाट इज द टोटल रिसिप्ट। नाउ टोटल एक्सपेंडिचर, ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड, okay, just make it clear for your understanding point of view. When you say total expenditure of the government, the total expenditure consists of two things. One is called revenue expenditure and the other one is called capital expenditure. So we add both these for total expenditure. So if total expenditure is greater than total income, right? Total income, what we call non-debt receipt. That means what? The revenue receipt, right? What is the revenue receipt? Same tax and non-tax plus grant from government, all that. And capital budget में we have a recovery of loan plus what we can say government ka if there is any disinvestment done by government, right? So this is total income. Now what we are saying, अगर total expenditure ज़्यादा है और total income कम है, then there will be a shortage. That shortage is called fiscal deficit. Clear now? It's easy. Okay. So now if you look at the Assam government का fiscal deficit in the last 6-7 years, fiscal deficit is increasing. Right? Government supposed to have a fiscal deficit of only 3.5%, but it is more than 6% as per 2022-23 also. Right? That means what happened? The government is running short of money for expenditure. तो government क्या करते हैं? Borrow करते हैं. That is what we call, leading to second concept called debt. So when government borrows money, it is called debt. So we call it as a debt to GSDP ratio. So how much government is borrowing money and it is what percent of Assam ka GDP. That is the point of debt to GSDP ratio. I repeat, government ने जो पैसा borrow किया है, वो हमारा स्टेट का जीडीपी का कितना परसेंटेज बनता है, दैट इज कॉल्ड डेब्ट टू जीडीपी रेशियो. ठीक है. सो इफ यू लुक एट हियर, Assam government has given this analysis. It is given in Assam economic survey, right? So if you see the debt to GDP ratio, it has come to 24.48% in 2023-24, but it is within the limit given by the FRBM Act, that is the Fiscal Responsibility and Budget Management Act. In short, we call it FRBM Act. Now this year budget you see, Assam government का ये जो नया बजट है ना 25-26, इस बजट में गवर्नमेंट ऑफ असम has given a comparison of different states. बाकी सब स्टेट का ये डेब्ट टू जीडीपी, ये जो है ना डेब्ट टू जीडीपी, बाकी सब स्टेट का ये डेब्ट टू जीडीपी रेशियो ज्यादा है, असम का बहुत कम है. सो इफ यू सी, असम इज इन 19th position, whereas we have only 24.3%, whereas other states have got even more, 25, even Tamil Nadu 26, etc. I have not kept all other states, not necessary, we have to only look at Assam. So exam में remember, Assam का debt to GDP ratio is 24.3%, right? It is low compared to all other states of India. Now Assam government also made an important statement here. Our borrowed money, that means what? The debt what we borrow because of fiscal deficit, shortage of money, so we are borrowing. लेकिन Assam government ने क्या बोला? Our borrowed money funds are dedicated for capital expenditure. That's what I was trying to tell you. Capital expenditure is an expenditure for development. It is needed for development. तो असम गवर्नमेंट अभी क्या बोल रहे हैं बजट में? यस, असम में शॉर्टेज हो रहा है, फिस्कल डेफिसिट हो रहा है, बजट में पैसा कम पड़ रहा है, हम बोरो करेंगे, लेकिन ये बोरोड मनी हम वेस्ट नहीं करेंगे इन सैलरी एक्सेट्रा, बट वी आर गोइंग टू स्पेंड फॉर कैपिटल एक्सपेंडिचर, दैट मीन्स डेवलपमेंट। क्लियर? सो डोंट नेगेटिवली क्रिटिसाइज। इवन इफ एग्जाम में मेंस में अगर सवाल आ गया Assam government's debt to GDP ratio is rather high, comment on it. You have to say positively that even though money is borrowed, but that money is basically used for capital expenditure. Clear? So no need to criticize. Okay. So Assam government has given this analysis. So if you see the debt to GDP ratio, it was 30, 29, 15, then it went down, but now started increasing. It is 24.3 around, that is the thing given in the budget, 24.3%. Clear? Now one simple question to you: can the state government borrow money outside India? Can the government of Assam borrow money from outside India? Answer is directly not. Assam government can borrow, but only through the central government. Okay, so Assam government cannot take a loan from the World Bank, Asian Development Bank, New Development Bank, etc. So now look at the constitution. According to the constitution, article 292, the constitution of India clearly says central government can borrow where both within India and outside the territory of our country, that means outside India, like World Bank, etc. But state government cannot borrow. Be clear. Though we are saying budget में shortage हो रहा है, हम development कर रहे हैं, हम पैसा borrow कर रहे हैं, but we are borrowing through the central government, right? So the constitution article 293 clearly says state government can borrow only from domestic sources, that means only within India. So Assam government can borrow only from domestic sources, whereas central government can borrow inside India as well as outside India. It is clear? Then suppose now let's understand, already Assam government ने central government से कुछ लोन ले लिया और वो रिपे करने का थोड़ा रह गया, तो इस समय में असम गवर्नमेंट का भी नया प्रोजेक्ट है एक ब्रिज बनाने का, तो उसके लिए और पैसा चाहिए. सो कैन असम गवर्नमेंट बोरो द मोर मनी विदाउट द परमिशन ऑफ सेंटर? सो इट कैनॉट बोरो विदाउट सेंटर का परमिशन. सो व्हाट डज द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन से? सो इफ यू सी आर्टिकल 293 क्या बोलता है इस आर्टिकल में? If the state government has outstanding, that means what? Unpaid loan, outstanding money borrowed from central government, then the state is required to take permission of the central government. That means approval is required before they borrow any further money. Even though it is inside India, they still require the permission of central government, right? So the state government ka, therefore this fiscal deficit ka, what are the sources? They can borrow from center, they can borrow from what we can say market. Okay, so they can borrow from the market by issuing what we can say state card development loan, right? That is how they can borrow from financial institution, etc. Okay, this is the official information given by the what we can say Department of Economic Affairs. Now one last thing I wanted to discuss also. जैसा सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट का we have three important accounts, what do we call? Consolidated fund, contingency fund, public account. स्टेट गवर्नमेंट का भी ये तीन इंपॉर्टेंट होता है, which are they? First one is consolidated fund. Now what is the consolidated fund of Assam government? It simply means असम गवर्नमेंट का जो भी टैक्सेस है, जो भी रेवेन्यू कलेक्शन होता है, या जो भी मनी हम बोरो करते हैं, वो सब पैसा हम कहाँ रखते हैं? So all the money of Assam government borrowed, received, everything, it is kept in consolidated fund. Clear? All the money received या borrowed by Assam government is kept where? Consolidated fund. और असम गवर्नमेंट का जो भी एक्सपेंडिचर है, हमने जो बोला है रेवेन्यू एक्सपेंडिचर, कैपिटल एक्सपेंडिचर, ये सब एक्सपेंडिचर भी हम कहां से पे करते हैं? वी पे फ्रॉम द सेम वन कॉल्ड कंसोलिडेटेड फंड. बी क्लियर. Consolidated fund is the main fund of the state government, where all the money received by state government and all the expenditure of the state government is done through this only consolidated fund. Clear? Second one is called contingency fund. Now what is the contingency fund? It is at the disposal of the governor of the state. Okay, so in any emergency, when the assembly is not there or there is any difficulty, unforeseen expenditure, emergency, उस समय में Assam government can take money from contingency fund, but with the approval of the governor of the state. Clear now? Public account simply means government employees or any other contribution made by people, जो like for example PF. Suppose the state government employees are contributing money to the state government towards their PF. So when they retire, वो पैसा तो रिटर्न करना पड़ेगा PF. So वो PF का सब पैसा आसाम गवर्नमेंट कहाँ रखते हैं? They keep it in the public account. It's that public word simply means it is the money of the people, not the government. Clear? So public account is like a small savings, provident fund, no reserve fund, etc. These are all kept in public account. Okay. So three major accounts are there in state also. Number one, consolidated fund. Number two, contingency fund. And number three, public account. Clear? So these are the three. Now just a piece of information to you. ये जो contingency fund है हमारा state का, this contingency fund earlier had only 200 crore. So pay attention. The contingency fund of Assam earlier was only 200 करोड़. ठीक है. फिर कोविड के समय में क्या हुआ? सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट का कंटिजेंसी फंड को बढ़ा दिया. क्यों? कोविड के समय में पता चला पैसा बहुत कम है, नॉट इनफ. तो स्टेट गवर्नमेंट ने भी क्या किया? अपना स्टेट का कंटिजेंसी फंड में जो पैसा है वो पैसा का कॉर्पस मतलब टोटल अमाउंट को बढ़ा दिया. सो फ्रॉम 200 करोड़ इट इज नाउ इंक्रीज्ड टू 2000 crore. Okay, so 2000 crore rupee is kept in the Assam government ka what we can say contingency fund. This was done in 2022. That means soon after that COVID effect, we realized that we need to keep more money in our contingency fund. Is this clear now? So these are what we can say proper analysis of understanding our budget. So budget, as I telling you now in very short summary, budget is the annual financial statement where we come to know what are the sources of income, revenue to government and what are the expenditure of the government, which we divide into revenue and capital budget. So we have a revenue receipt, revenue expenditure, capital receipt, capital expenditure. And if expenditure is greater than income, then government has to borrow. That is what we discussed, fiscal deficit, debt, then borrowing money, all that. Clear? So we need to understand the budget properly. So government of Assam को कहाँ से पैसा मिलता है, कहाँ खर्चा होता है, you know, these are the things exam में आपको पूछा जाने का chances है. Okay. So now I will make another video. In that video, we are going to discuss the 18 flagship programs of Assam government, as well as what we can say all the major announcements made by Assam government, that we will discuss in the next video. Till then, you go through this video and I will give you the PPT also for your reading, and for any query you can contact Bhadra IAS Academy at 8638391721. Okay, for any queries you have, you can contact us on this number regarding admission or study material or any information you require. You can call this particular number. Okay, so keep watching the budget updates. Okay, because exam definitely there will be a question, even prelims and mains also. So this will be very important to prepare ourselves properly for exam. In the next video, I will discuss all the 18 flagship programs of Assam government's new budget. Okay. Thank you. You follow the videos.